Hello, Year 4. We are on lesson 8. Time is just flying by, isn't it? So we are going to start as usual by having a look at what we're actually going to be doing today. We are going to be recapping rounding to the nearest 100. So we're going to have a quick game of our rockets to start off with to do that. And then we're going to be thinking about 10, 100 and 1,000 more or less than a given number. We're going to be adding on and taking off a 10, 100 or 1,000. And we're going to be doing some counting as well. So we're starting today with our pencil ready, our maths book ready, our marking pen ready, and all of the equipment that we need. So make sure you've got all of that. And then we're going to start with our game. So we're going to do a couple of straightforward ones to start off with. Okay, and then we will come back and do some without the number line, because I think you're pretty much ready to do some of these without a number line now. And I'm hoping that you're feeling confident too. Here we go. So 8,181. If we're rounding it to the nearest 100, where's it going? Point to the rocket that you think is correct. Where's it going? It's going to 8,200, isn't it? Well done. Did you get that one right? Okay, let's try another one. Are you ready? So we're going 8,000. That one was, wasn't it? Let's have a look at the next one. Here we go. Oh, it's not an 8,000 this time, it's a 5,000. Round that number to the nearest 100. What do we get? Check out that 100 number. Have a look at the tens to help you decide. Which is it going to? Is it going to 5,200 or 5,300? One more, the number line to help you, and then we're going to go without the number line. 849. Where's it going? Is it going to 800 or is it going to 900? Because it's very fractionally, isn't it? Closer to 800. Right, gone is the number line now. Your head started to wake up. You started to think about what you're doing. No, oh no, I'm not giving you the number line. Get the number line away, making it too easy for you. No number line this time. Here we go. I'm not even going to read it for you. Point to the rocket. That's the right one. I've got every faith in you. We practiced this yesterday. Which one is it? Is it 7,980, 7,900 or 8,000? Last ones, wasn't it? It was 8,000. Right, that one. Where's that rounding? And we'll round it to the nearest 100. It's not close enough to 5,100, so it's staying at 5,000. Okay, next one. Where's that one going? Which rocket is the correct answer? So this time, if we look at the hundreds, it's a 0, but there's a 5 in the tens column, so it's going up to 5. Okay, last one. Have you got them all right? Let's see, last one. Get all of them? I'm pretty certain you probably will have done, because you've done really well with that. Well done. So lots of rounding. We're going to come back to rounding once more before we finish this unit of work, but today we're going to do something a little bit different because we spent a lot of time thinking about rounding. So let's have a look and see what we're going to be doing for the rest of the session. So in the rest of the session, we're going to be thinking about adding 10 and 100 more or less. And this is the activity I'm going to give you to do in a minute, which involves you adding on tens or adding on hundreds or taking away tens or taking away hundreds. So we're going to have a look together at some examples first and some counting in tens and hundreds to help you. And then I'll leave you to do some of those questions by yourselves, okay? So let's have a look. Here we have a place value counter. So you can see at the bottom, it's got those arrow cards that we used before. And in the middle here, it's got the number 1,109. And the number 1,000, so we've got 1,109 cubes on my hand here, 1,109. And we're going to be adding 10 each time. Okay, so if I'm adding 10, I'm going to add one of these, aren't I? Because they're worth 10. So I'm adding 10 to that. So I've got my 1,000, I've got my 100, they're not changing. I'm just putting a 10 in, and these aren't changing either. So you can see when I add 10 to it, it becomes 1,119. So the thousands number hasn't changed, the hundreds number hasn't changed, and the units number hasn't changed. The only number that's changed, the only digit that's changed is the 10, because we put a 10 in. So what would the next number be in the sequence? I'm going to put another 10 in. So now I've got 1,129. So still, it's just the tens number that's changing. All the other three digits have stayed the same. And then we're going to do it again. And we get to 39. And that seems okay, doesn't it? It's nice and straightforward so far. And we keep going, we get 49 and we get 59. So we get our 49, we get our 59. And we keep going, we keep on adding 10. Again, 69, 79, 89, 99. Now it changes a little bit. Because what happens when I add 10 now? I can't have 10 tens in there, can I? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now I still want to have another 10. I'm popping another 10 in there. I've still got my 1,000 block and my 100. I've still got my 9 cubes here. But I've now got 10 in here. And I can't write 1, 1, 10, 9, can I? Because the biggest digit you can have in a column is a 9. So what am I going to do with these? Well, what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to swap them. I'm going to exchange them for one of these. Because if I have 10 of these, I'm going to lay them and show you. They make 100. 10 tens. Here we are. Look. 10 tens lie on there and make 100. So I've now got 100, swapping these over, I'm exchanging, and I've got 1,200, and I've still got my 9 here. So this time, it's not just one digit that's changed. Watch what happens. 2 digits have changed. This hundreds digit has changed, and the tens digit has changed. So when we're adding on 10 or taking away 10, yes, it's usually the tens digit that changes, but sometimes it affects the hundreds digit as well. Right, let's join in with the counter now and see if we can just keep counting in tens. Are you ready? So we've got, this number says 1,209. Let's see what the next number is. 1,219, 1,229, 1,230. Oh, it's going a bit quick. Let's slow it down. 1,259, 1,269, 1,279, 1,289, 1,299. And look at that change. 1,300. So when it gets to 99, when that tens digit gets to 90, we have to remember that we're going back to 0 in the tens digit because we're exchanging those 10 tens for 100, and we get 1,309. Right, let's have one more go at counting on in tens, okay? So we're at 2,455, and we're going to be adding on tens. So it's the tens number to start off with that's going to be changing. Are you ready to count with it? I've slowed it down a bit this time. Ready? 2,465, 2,475, 2,485, 2,495. What is the next number? So I'm adding in another 10, but now I've got 10 tens. What's going to happen? We have a look. 2,505. So the thousands and the units are still staying the same, but I've increased by 100 because I had 10 tens, which makes 100. Right, now we're going to do the opposite. Now we're going to go backwards. Okay, and again, it's that bridging 100 that's the tricky bit. Okay, so when we have got a nice number in here and we can take them off of it, it's fine. But when we end up getting to 0, then what do we do? So let's have a think about that. Here we go. So we're going to go backwards this time. We're going to go down by 10. So 7,725. If we drop it by 10, the 10 digit changes by 1. And now we've only got 1 10, which makes 7,715. If I drop it by another 10, so I'm going to take this 10 away, it goes to 7,705. And that's okay. Now I need to take another 10 away, but there's no 10s here, which is a problem, isn't it? So this means I'm going to have to take this. I'm going to do the opposite to what I did before. I'm going to take one of the hundreds and I'm going to turn it back into my 10 sticks so I can take one off. So the 7,000 has stayed. This is changing to 600. Let's have a look. And I've now got 90 in there. So that's the really hard bit. Now I've got an easy job again. Now we can count easily back in tens. 7,685. 7,675. Going down 1, 7,665. 7,655. It's all fine. 7,645. 7,635, 25, 15. One more step's going to be easy. 7,605. Now what's the number going to be? This is the really tricky one. So 7,605. I'm going to have to do this exchange again, aren't I? What will I end up with? Well, if I'm exchanging, this number is going to drop 1. And then I'm going to end up with quite a lot here because I've got 10 and I'm only taking 1 off. What's the number? Can you work it out? 7,595. So adding on 10 and taking away 10 is really simple until you get to bridging 100. And then that's the bit that people find really hard. This time we're going to do the same but with hundreds. So we're going to add and take away hundreds and it works in a really similar way. So if I've got a number, let's create a new number, 5,095. Okay, and I'm adding on 100 each time. Okay, so I'm going up in hundreds. At the moment, I've got 5 of these thousands, haven't I? I've got no hundreds at all, so I haven't got any of those at the moment. I've got 9 of these, and I've got 5 cubes, got 5 ones. If I go up once, now I've got one of these because I've added in 100. So I've got 5,195. If I add another one, all of a sudden this number is changing to a 2, isn't it? And if I add another one, I'm sure you can work out what that 100 digit is changing to. And we're going to keep going. So let's count with the counter again. Here we go. 5,395. 5,495. 5,595. 5,695. 5,795. 5,895. 5,995. Now what? Now what's going to happen? 100 more. What happens when we have 10 hundreds? What does it become? It becomes one of these, doesn't it? Because 10 of these stack up to make one of these. So can you work out what that next number is going to be? 6,095. Okay, because we've taken those 10 hundreds and we've made a new block of this. So our hundreds number has gone to a 0 because we've exchanged those 10 for one of these thousands. Okay, so we're going up. So again, when we're counting in hundreds, when we get to 1,000 barrier, we have to really think about it. So once we've got 5,995, we have to think what's going to happen next when we add 100. The same goes for when we're counting back in hundreds, okay? So this time we're going backwards. Again, it's just the hundreds we're playing with here. But it's going to affect something else, isn't it? Let's have a look. So we step back once by 9,228. We take 100 away. What do we get? 9,128. Now I've only got one of these left and I'm going to take that one away. That's all right. Now I've got 9,028. I've got no hundreds. But now I want to take 100 away. What am I going to do? I've got lots of these still, haven't I? I've got 9 of these. So I'm going to take just one of these and I'm going to swap it for a whole pile of hundreds, 10 hundreds. So now how many of these have I got and how many hundreds have I got? I've got 8 of these because I've swapped one and I've now got a pile of 9 of our hundreds because I had 10 and I took one away. So I've got my pile here to make my 100 and I've taken one off, so I've got 8,928. So adding and subtracting 10 and 100 is really easy until we get to one of those bridging places. So that's the bit you have to really, really think about today, is when you get to one of those numbers, what are you going to do? So you need to really think about it. I think it's time for you to have a go on your own. Are you ready? So all I want you to do is copy the first 3 numbers in my sequence and then have a think about what's happening to those numbers. They're either going to go up by 10, down by 10, up by 100 or down by 100. And then I want you to write the next 3 numbers that would come in that sequence. Some of them are straightforward, some of them are going to involve a little bit more thinking. Off you go. Have you done some really good thinking? How are you feeling about adding on and taking off 10 and 100? Are you feeling confident? I hope so. Should we have a look? So the first one, 244, 254, 264, 274, 284, 294. I was kind on the first one. I didn't make you go any higher, did I? But I wonder if you could think now, 294, what would be 10 bigger? What would be 10 bigger than that? Can you do it? So we would end up with 10 tens, which would make what? We would end up with 304. I wonder if you could do that. Okay, next one. 345, 335, 325. We're going down. I was mean this time. We bridged 100. Look at it. 315, 305. Then we ran out of tens, so we had to take one of our hundreds and we had to break it up into those 10 pieces and take one of them away. So we ended up with 295 because we'd exchanged one of our hundreds for 10 tens. 1,234, 1,244 to 1,254. So it's the tens digit that's changing. So we're adding on 10 each time. And that was a nice straightforward one because again, it didn't go through a barrier, did it? So we were okay there. Right, here we go. Number 4. 578, 478, 378, 178, 78. That one was okay. We were going down in hundreds. 7,621, 7,700. So it's the hundreds number that's changing. Is it going up or is it going down? It's going up. So we should have had 7,921. Then the tricky one, 8,021. And then a nice straightforward one, 8,121. 9,589, 9,489. So this one was going down by 100, wasn't it? And here again, I didn't make it too hard, but I wonder if you could work out what that next number would be. So when we've got to 9,089, what would the next number after that be? So we would have to take one of those thousands, wouldn't we? And then we would have to take 100 away from it. What would we end up with? Work it out. So we had 9,089. We would end up with 8,989. Can you do that one? They were tricky, weren't they? Okay, we're going to do exactly the same thing now. Well, we use exactly the same mental math skills, but we're going to have a look at it presented in a slightly different way. Okay, so this time we're looking at something slightly different. Let me show you what we're going to be looking at. So we've got a number and then we've got an instruction or a function, and then we have to work out what number goes in here. So we've got 3,528 for our first one. So I'm going to make it on my place value flipper this time. So we've got 3,500, numbers are sticking together, 528. Here we go, 3,520, and it says 1,000 less. So now we're affecting this number. We're doing 1,000 less. So 1,000 less means that this number is changing, and it's going down to 4,000. So 3,528 was not going up. Mrs. Aston needs to read a bit more carefully, doesn't she? 3,500. If we're going less, we're going down, aren't we? So it's going to 2,528. Okay. This next one is what Mrs. Aston was trying to do then, wasn't it? 4,904. So I start with my number again. So you're going to write that number in your book, and then you're going to have a think. What is happening now? So I want a 0 in there and a 4 in my units number. Here we go. Oh, 4's hiding. Here we go. 4,904, and I want 1,000 more. So it's this digit that's changing, isn't it? I want 1,000 more, and 1,000 more is going to take me to 5,904. So you need to look really carefully at the instructions to what is happening to your starting number. So 4,904 is going to become 5,904. We've then got a list of numbers. We're starting at the same number each time, but we're adding different amounts. So the first one's nice and easy. We're just adding 1. So 3,880 becomes 3,881. We're changing the units number. Now it's a 10 more, so we're changing the tens number. So again, we've gone back to 3,880 and we're adding on a 10. So if we're on 80, we're going to be on 90. So it's going to be 3,890. Here we're adding a 10, so the 800 is going to adding on 100, sorry. So the 800 is going to be moving to 900. So now we've got the number 3,780. Oh, Mrs. Aston, read it carefully. 100 less, 100 less. I was about to say, make sure you read it really carefully, and then I made the mistake. Really careful looking. Okay, so look at what number it is, but also check the word. Is it more or less? And I would have made a huge error there, and I'd have had it more, wouldn't I? So 3,880 becomes 3,780. And then again, it's less, this one, so it's 1,000 less. So this digit here, this 1,000 is going to drop by 1. So we're going to end up with 2,880. Okay. The last bit of the challenge is like, it's almost like a conveyor belt. So the number's going to start here, it's going to change, then it's going to change, then it's going to change. And we're going to end up with a new number. So we started with 109. Carefully at the words, add, Mrs. Aston. So add 100. So I'm going to end up with 209. Then I'm going to add 1,000. So I've got no thousands at the moment. So I'm going to end up with 1,209. And then I'm taking away 10. This is a tricky one because it's going to drop through. So if I'm on 209 and I drop 10, what am I going to end up with? 1,199, because I'm dropping by 10. So that's what I want you to do now. You've got exactly the same thing as we've just done together for you to do by yourself now. And you need to be really good at looking carefully at the words, not like Mrs. Aston. I did not do that very well at all, did I? So look carefully. Are you adding? Are you subtracting? Is it more or is it less? So add and more mean the same thing, don't they? And subtract and less mean the same thing. So we've got a variety of words here showing us whether it's adding or taking away. So look really carefully, copy what's in front of you, and then write in the missing numbers for me. Okay, press pause while you do that. Well done, I hope you've managed that section. Right, we're going to go on to a few more of those now. Here's a couple more for you to do. Press pause while you do those. Okay, how did you get on? Let's have a look. Can you check the answers for me? So we had 494, get your marking pen, which when adding on 100 made 594. We had 318 and we added 1,000 and we ended up with 1,318. The hundreds, tenths and units stayed the same. 298, subtract 10, went to 288. 497, subtract 100, so 400 went to 397. And 7,121, one more, was 22 on the end. 10 more made it 7,131. Now we're going to less, Mrs. Astor. Did you spot that? We're going to less, everybody. What is 100 less than 7,121? So we had 100, which went to no 100, so we had 7,021. And what is 1,000 less? We had 7,000, so we ended up with 6,000, and the 121 stayed the same. So mark those for me, and then we'll mark the last two. Here we go. How did you do? Did you end up with the same numbers? Let's have a look. 590, 100 more, 690, 1,000 more, 1,690. Then, did you spot the subtract? We're taking away 10, 1,680. And then over here, 418, add 100, 518, add 1,000, 1,518, and there was a subtract again, 1,508. Well done if you managed all of that and you didn't get caught out. Hopefully those eagle eyes were working when you spotted the mistakes that I made when I was talking to you about it, and you didn't fall into the same trap as I did. Well done. Lots of thinking today, lots of up and down with those numbers, adding and subtracting, more and less. Tomorrow, we're going to do a quick recap of that, and we're going to go back to our rounding. So we're going to go back to rounding numbers, this time to the nearest 1,000. So we're going to do a bit more rounding, and you are brilliant at rounding, so I know you'll be able to do this by now. Splash has got something for you to think about overnight. His overnight challenge is this true or false? If I start at 301 and count up in hundreds, I will always have an odd answer. Have a think about that overnight. Your mind will be whirring now with ideas, won't it? Well done for today. Lots of big, really good thinking. Keep persevering with those. See if you can work out Splash's challenge, and I will see you